In this video, I'll explain why you should keep a training log, and most importantly, how to actually do it by showing you an example from my personal training log workflow. So you've started training. You've got some workouts under your belt. Now what? How do you ensure your success in the long run? How do you keep the motivation high so that you don't quit as soon as the going gets tough? Well, one of the most important things you can do, believe it or not, is to just track it. Really, it's that simple. Just start tracking your workouts. Every rep, every set, the intensity, how it felt, what form cues you want to work on for the next set. If you really do this, I'm certain you'll be training for years to come. By the way, if you're currently struggling to get started working out, watch this video about establishing workout habits first. And while you're at it, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps me out. So, training logs. Why bother with them? Why spend all the time taking the notes? Well, first of all, it takes no time whatsoever. You have to rest between or after every conceivable type of exercise you might do, so that's when you fill out your training log. Your training log is up to date the very minute you finish your workout, so it takes zero extra effort. Secondly, it's the only way to objectively know what you've done. For example, do you remember what you had for dinner last Tuesday? I sure don't. Maybe you have a mind like a steel trap and you do remember that, but can you answer these very specific questions? Do you remember your exact portion size? How many times did you chew? Did you go back for seconds afterwards? How long did it take for you to finish the meal? Did you feel full afterwards? Were you overfull? How much water did you drink during it? I'm not suggesting that you should do this for a meal diary, but the point is that our memory is quite fallible. This is, however, the level of detail that a good training log will have. On a session-to-session basis, you're not going to totally change your workout. What you are going to do is tweak and tinker with very small parameters and observe the effects of those changes over time, in future sessions. So you need to record those parameters in the first place. Thirdly, it's nearly essential for progressive overload. In short, progressive overload is the art of progressively increasing your training stimulus over time so that your body continually adapts to it. In practice, this is done by manipulating training variables like sets, reps, intensity, rest time, or tempo. But in order to actually do this, it's essential to track what you did last time so that you can progress it each session. A lot of people get confused about progressive overload, so let me know in the comments if you'd like to see an in-depth video about progressive overload. Fourthly, it's a tool which basically plans your workout for you. You just have to look at what you did last week and then try to make it harder. For example, you could add 1 rep until you get to the top end of your rep range. Then you could add weight. Boom. Fifth, this is the most important one in the long run and the most underrated aspect of a training log. It shows your progress over time, which is what keeps you motivated in the first place. Believe it or not, training is actually kind of hard, and progress in many cases comes very slowly. But when you have a notebook full of PRs and improvements session upon session, you know you're on the right track. It's literal proof. It motivates you within the session, after the session, and in the long term. People often think, I'll train for 3 months and then I'll be strong and then it won't feel so hard. Everything will be light and easy. While it is true that the workout you completed on the first day of your program will feel a lot easier if you do it again on the 100th day of your program, but at that point it won't be enough stimulus to drive further gains. You need to train harder once you're stronger. Your workouts need to scale with your level of ability. So training doesn't really get easier in the long run. It's hard for you, it's hard for me, and it's definitely hard for world-class athletes. So this is a simple mental trick, but it works. You check the box, you set a mini PR, and you feel great. In the long term, you'll have obvious external evidence of your training. You'll look stronger, maybe you'll be bigger or thinner depending on your goals. But in the short term, the training log affirms your identity as an athlete and as an active, fit person. Alright, now that we've agreed that we should keep a training log, how do we actually do it? Well, there are basically 2 types of training logs, a physical notebook or an app. The pros of the notebook are that they're infinitely flexible and you can put in free text details to your heart's content, and they're less likely to distract you from the workout with push notifications. The cons, of course, are that it's harder to track the data over time because you can't search through them. It's not as easy to see your PRs unless you actively recopy your analog notebook into a digital spreadsheet. So that's why I use option number 2, an app. So there are tons of apps, and I'm not trying to sell you on a specific one or anything. The one I use is called FitNotes. It's simple, free, and easy, but you can choose any of them. They're all probably pretty close to the same. So the pros of using an app are that it's very easy to see your previous workouts at an exercise level. So even if the last time you did front squats was a year ago, when you add the exercise to your current workout, you can instantly see your last sets, your entire training history, as well as your personal bests. It also has a built-in rest timer, so you can record what you did in your set, and and then just relax and focus until you hear the beep. Then it's time to go again. Then the other obvious benefits of digital are that you can automatically back up your data so that you don't lose it. They also let you track and perform analysis over time. The main cons are that there's less room for qualitative data. An app is the best for numbers, but it doesn't have massive room for adding text. Secondly, they can be pretty distracting if your phone's not on Do Not Disturb. You go to record your set, instead you end up scrolling on your phone for 5 minutes and forgetting you were doing a workout in the first place. So avoid that. Alright, so now we're actually in the home gym and I'm in the middle of a workout. My next exercise is going to be the barbell upright row, but I want to look at my training log to see what I did last time so I can know how to progress it this time. So here's the workflow. I select a new exercise, I search for it by string, find, okay, there it is, barbell upright row, and it automatically loads up with a weight and reps from the first set of the last session. But I want to see the whole workout, so I'm going to click here. When I go to the history tab, we can see for the last session I did 3 sets of 20 reps at 24 kilograms, and then I did 1 minor rep set for 7 reps. If I click on the little comment here, I can see that on that day I thought, yeah, since I did 20 reps, which is the top end of my rep range, for all 3 sets, I can upgrade to 26 kilograms. So I'm going to go back to the track tab, up the weight to 26, go down to 14, because that's sort of the bottom end of the rep range that I'm working on right now. I'm going to shoot for this, but we'll see if I have more. I would guess I probably will. Now all I have to do is load up the bar and do the work. So regardless of whether you're using an app or a notebook, here are the minimum data fields I would recommend recording. The date, the name of the exercise, the number of sets, the number of reps, a note on how you could realistically progress it the next session, and some sort of qualitative technique or feeling notes. For instance, what form cues feel good? What made the weight feel light or improved your mind-muscle connection? Thoughts like these are extremely important for progressing in the long run. So there I did 26 kilograms for 15 reps. So I'm going to log it down. There we go, we see it's a new 15 rep max, and I'm going to wait for 2 minutes to the next one. The rest timer's already started. I'm going to relax for 2 minutes, and when it beeps, I'm going to work hard again. So that's about it. Training logs are one of the few essential tools to make gains for the long term. If you're not already doing it, start your training log on your very next workout. You won't regret it. And thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Please help me out by liking and subscribing, and check out one of these 2 videos next.